Turn the dial and feel the wave. Stir the fallout, signal brave.
Good evening. This is Stir the Fallout. You are hearing this. The signal has found you.
System.
Tonight, we align the static. We stir the wave. We do not panic. We broadcast.
Spin the dial, embrace the thunder. Every whisper wants the crown. Chaos writes the nightly bulletin while the satellites look down. Stir the fallout! Spin the wave! Long live what tyrants crave! Signal bright across the night. Crack the skyline with the light. Static in the storm.
Destiny volatility has reached levels not seen since the Great Narrative Correction. Analysis report a surge in premature hero arcs, unsanctioned awakenings, and multiple cases of spontaneous main character syndrome. Glass slippers are manifesting without paperwork. Dragons are self-assigning quests, and at least 3 prophecies have attempted to unionize. Experts assure us there is no cause for alarm. However, fairy tales are no longer waiting for their cue. They are skipping chapters, and unmanaged myths have historically resulted in structural adjustments. We advise listeners to remain calm and stay within their assigned storylines. In labor developments, a coalition of regional fairy tales have formally filed for union representation. The group, identifying itself as the Allied Narrative Workers Guild, cites unsafe narrative conditions and excessive repetition. In other news, representatives from several major fairy tale kingdoms have formally requested union recognition. Among the groups involved, the Enchanted Workers Guild, the Dragon Fire Regulations Committee, and a coalition of princesses citing unsafe castle tower conditions. One dragon spokesperson explained the issue simply: unregulated fire-breathing schedules are not sustainable. Primary grievances include forced third act betrayals, uncompensated moral lessons, and chronic overexposure to spinning wheels. A spokesman for the collective stated, "We have carried kingdoms, curses, and character development for centuries. We are requesting basic arc protections." Among their demands, rotating dragon duty schedules, transparent prophecy clauses, hazard pay for enchanted forests, and a cap on tragic backstory quotas. Princesses have expressed interest in tower ventilation reform. Wolves are negotiating clear dietary language. Meanwhile, the Big Bad Wolf released a statement saying he would like to stop being cast as the villain in every production. Economists say this could represent the first case of fictional characters organizing collectively. If negotiations succeed, future stories may include regulated hero work hours, standardized villain contracts, and mandatory lunch breaks during quests. Officials say talks are ongoing. Management at Fairy Tale Daycare responded, "We respect all narratives. We simply prefer them scheduled. At this time, no strikes have been announced. However, several happily ever afters are being withheld pending negotiation." Experts warn that if collective bargaining fails, spontaneous genre shifts may occur. We advise listeners, check your chapter assignments, review your curse exemptions, and avoid whistling near mirrors. In seasonal development, a young woman removed her clothes and entered the water on what witnesses described as an unusual warm summer afternoon.
According to several accounts, a young woman entered the ocean for a routine swim. During the swim, an octopus allegedly emerged from nearby rocks and removed her clothing from the shoreline. Moments later, the octopus was eaten by a passing shark, leaving the swimmer asking what analysts describe as a deeply philosophical question: what do I do now? Marine mythologists say the sequence resembles the opening structure of a traditional folk tale. However, marine biologists insist that the event may simply reflect unusual animal behavior. Either way, witnesses have already begun retelling the story online, which means the event may now be entering the folklore phase.
There were no permits filed, no audience requested, no sponsorship attached. Observers report the act appeared spontaneous, unbranded, unoptimized. The water was calm. The sky did not intervene. Some have labeled the moment reckless. Others have called it unmediated existence. Cultural analysts suggest the incident represents a broader trend, a growing resistance to over-curated identity, a refusal to package joy, an unwillingness to schedule aliveness. Officials confirm no laws were broken, no narratives collapsed. However, several nearby storylines reported destabilization. At this time, the lake remains open, the sun remains overhead, and summer continues without approval.
We will continue monitoring developments.
Our next segment tonight examines a phenomena reported by individuals across many cultures. The moment when reality begins to feel slightly off or out of alignment. Researchers refer to this experience as noticing the signal. Reports typically follow the same pattern. It begins with small inconsistencies, predictions failing, events repeating strange themes, coincidences arriving in clusters. One observer described the moment this way. At first, it looked like random events, but eventually the randomness started behaving like it had a rhythm. Psychologists say humans naturally search for patterns. However, others believe something more unusual may be happening. Several myth historians point out that moments like this often appear just before the birth of a new cultural story. If that theory is correct, what we're witnessing now may be the early stage of a new mythology forming in real time.
We now turn to a developing situation at Fairy Tale Daycare. The facility, which provides cross-story childcare for legendary figures, has recently issued multiple policy updates. Officials confirm that several characters have been seen pursuing unscheduled romantic side quests during lunch breaks. Witnesses report sightings of Prince Charming, Sleeping Beauty, a suspiciously well-dressed frog, and what security footage describes as a fox wearing sunglasses. Administration has released the following statement. All romantic subplots must be filed with management before becoming canon. Despite the warning, eyewitnesses say certain characters were observed leaving the enchanted break room together earlier today. Narrative scholars warn this may represent cross-fairy tale storyline merging, which historically leads to very complicated mythology.
We've received an update. Several observers across different regions report a strange synchronization event early today. Multiple clocks reportedly drifted into identical seconds. Random electronic devices activated simultaneously, and a small number of individuals claim they heard what they describe as a signal beneath the noise. At this time, there is no confirmation that these reports are connected. However, researchers note that similar descriptions appear in folklores associated with major cultural shifts. If verified, this could represent the first confirmed instance of a synchronized signal event. We'll bring updates as they arrive.
Tonight's analysis question: what happens when stories begin recognizing themselves? Across recent reports, we've seen fairy tale characters requesting labor rights, unscripted mythological incidents, and rumors of synchronized signals. Taken separately, these events appear unrelated. Taken together, they raise a fascinating possibility. What if stories are no longer waiting for authors? What if they are evolving on their own? Some researchers believe that modern communication networks have accelerated folklore formation. Memes spread faster than ancient myths ever could. A story can now circle the planet before the day ends, which means mythology itself may be entering a collaborative phase. If so, the myths of the future may not be written by one storyteller. They may be written by everyone.
This has been a developing story. The glass slipper remains on the table.
Are you tired of unexpected transformations? Freedom Destiny volatility detected. Prophecy drift increasing. Hero arc probability rising. This is not a crisis. This is a scheduling variance. Welcome to Fairy Tale Daycare. Narrative stability through structured myth management. Dragons enrolled in controlled flame modules. Princesses assigned tower reflection periods. Wolves participating in Dietery mediation workshops. All apples pre-screened. All spindles magnetically sealed. All magic beans require dual authorization. Unauthorized quests are discouraged. Midnight curfews are enforced. Glass slipper distribution monitored. Please remain calm. Your legend is safe. Stay in your chapter. Wait for your cue. Happily ever after will be issued to you. Unmanaged myths become revolutions. Fairy Tale Daycare. We pace your destiny.
Fairy Tale Daycare, where every once upon a time has supervision.
Are you a witch with a full potion schedule? A night's double booked full dragon slaying? A stepmother attending a mandatory image branding seminar? We understand. That's why at Fairy Tale Daycare we provide safe, structured, narratively compliant childcare for all mythic dependents.
Whether they're a dragon with mild arson tendencies, a princess in early stage tower independence, a wolf navigating dietary identity, or an egg-shaped citizen exploring gravity, we've got them covered.
Safety first. All enhanced forests are fully OSHA certified, spell resistant, troll proof, and equipped with emergency happily ever after contingencies. No curses without consent. No spinning wheels after 6 p.m. All apples pre-screened.
Daily activities include intro to responsible fire breathing, conflict resolution for siblings who are also rivals, unionization basics for nursery rhyme characters, castle building without feudal oppression,
And of course, quiet time in the enhanced nap grove.
Just listen to some of these parental testimonials.
My dragon hasn't burned down a single village since enrollment.
Oh, that big bad wolf finally learned to ask before hopping. Sleeping Beauty hasn't triggered the fire alarm in weeks.
Flexible scheduling.
Armageddon postponed. Prophecy rescheduled. Witch trial moved to Tuesday. No problem.
We offer half-day quest coverage, drop-in miracle supervision, and apocalypse-adjusted billing cycles.
Catchy slogan for looping. Fairy Tale Daycare, where dragons nap and destinies wait until pickup time. Fairy Tale Daycare, not responsible for spontaneous heroes' journeys, glass slipper mismatches, frog to prince incidents, or unexpected moral lessons. Happily ever afters may vary. Because even legends need a place to play.
Thank you for your compliance.
Oh god, this is a long one. I swear when I finish this, I'm just gonna go into a corner, walk back and forth and start crying. I cautiously agree to this. Are you a witch? Are you a witch with full potion? Okay. I step.
That's why at Fairy Tale they. That's why. That is why at Fairy Tale Day. That's why at Fairy Tale Day we provide safe, structured, and
Yeah, we structured. No, okay. You Americans are just putting me off.
that's why at Fairy Tale
Mythic, mythical, mythic.
That's why at Fairy Tale Day, because this structured narratively complement.
Oh God, this is a long one. I swear, when I finish this, I'm just going to go into a corner, walk back and forth and start crying. I cautiously agree to this. Are you a witch? Are you a witch with full potion schedule? Potion schedule. Okay. That's why at very day. That's why. That is why tell day. Eh? That's why at Fairy Tale Daycare we provide safe, structured, and we structured narrative. Okay, that's it. You Americanism so put me off. That's why at Fairy Tale Daycare. Mythic. That's why at Fairy Tale Daycare we provide safe, structured, narratively complement. I'm going to cry.
Oh God, this is a long one. I swear when I finish this, I'm just gonna go into a corner, walk back and forth and start crying. I cautiously agree to this. Are you a witch? Are you a witch with full potion? Okay. I step.
That's why at Fairy Tale Day. That's why. That is why at Fairy Tale Day. That's why at Fairy Tale Day we provide safe, structured, and
Yeah, we structured. No, okay. You Americans are just putting me off.
that's why at Fairy Tale
Mythic, mythical, mythic.
That's why at Fairy Tale Day, because this structured narratively complement.
That's why at Fairy Tale Daycare we provide safe, structured, narratively compliant, can't speak. Oh God. A princess in early stage toward independency. Okay. A wolf navigation in navigation. Yeah, navigating. Okay. On egg-shaped no curse who are also rivals. Okay. Conflict resolution for siblings. For siblings. Unionize. That your Americanization. I see. Parent testimonies.
Fairy Tale Daycare, narrative stability through structured myth management.
Greetings, Guardian. Our records indicate your dependent is exhibiting elevated destiny volatility. Unmanaged prophecy drift can result in unauthorized hero arcs, premature dragon encounters, unlicensed tower isolation, non-compliant curse activation. This is not a cause for concern. This is a scheduling issue. At Fairy Tale Daycare, we specialize in early stage legend containment and story arc stabilization. All participants are enrolled in our patented Happily Ever After compliance framework. This includes apple screening protocols, fire breathing permits, wolf dialogue mediation training, and pre-approved transformation windows. Please note, spindles are magnetically sealed, glass slippers are size verified, magic beans require dual authorization. Daily curriculum focuses on narrative pacing, impulse prophecy control, responsible moral alignment, and cooperative quest simulation. Performance metrics. Since implementation, there's been a 78% reduction in unsanctioned rebellions, a 64% decrease in forest-related incidents, and 100% compliance in nap time enchantments. If your dragon begins glowing red, if your princess questions architectural confinement, if your wolf expresses complex dietary autonomy, remain calm. Staff will initiate containment song protocol. Fairy Tale Daycare, stay in your lane. Wait for your chapter. Don't jump ahead. Reassurance is important. Your child's destiny is safe with us. It will unfold at the approved pace. Fairy Tale Daycare, because unmanaged legends become revolutions.
Thank you for your compliance.
Upon Fairy Tale Daycare, shouldn't that be? He's not responsible. Yeah. Fairy Daycare Fairy Tale Daycare is not responsible for spontaneous Fairy Day folks happily ever after. Our records indicate your dependence in exhibiting. Our records indicate your dependence is in Our records indicate your dependence. Our records indicate your dependent is exhibiting elevated destiny volatility. I'll try it again. Unmanaged prophecies drift. At Fairy Tale Daycare, we specialize in early stage legend containment. Wolf dialogue. All participants are enrolled in our patented. Okay. Mediation. Response small in 78% reduction in unsatisfied rebellions. Okay. If your dragon begins, if your princess questions architecture. Spindles are magnetically. Please don't ask me to sing. Please don't ask me to sing. Okay, I'm just going to say as well.
Thank you for your compliance.
Oh God, this is a long one. I cautiously agreed to this. I swear, when I finish this, I'm just going to go into a corner, walk back and forth, and start crying. That's why at Fairy Tale Daycare, we provide safe, structured, narratively compliant. I can't speak. Oh God, that's why at Fairy Tale Daycare, you Americans are just putting me off. Mythical. A princess in early stage tower independency, okay. A wolf navigation in navigation. Yeah, navigation, okay. On egg-shaped set. No curse stumbles. Are you a witch? Are you a witch with full potion schedule? Potion, okay. Conflict resolution for Sil. Union, oh, that's your Americanized. Ugh, I see. Parent testimonials like tests. That's why at Fairy Tale Daycare we provide safe, structured, narratively compliant. We provide safe, structured, narratively compliant daycare. Are you a witch? Potion. Princess in early stage tower independency. Wolf navigation. Narratively compliant. Fairy Tale Daycare. Fairy Tale Daycare. Oh God, this is a long one. I cautiously agree to this. Potion. Compliant. Mythical. Fairy Tale Daycare.
Fairy Tale Daycare a message from Lord Edworthy.
If you are a busy witch with potions on the boil, a night double booked for dragon slaying, or perhaps a royal household managing an unexpected prophecy, we know how it goes. That's why here at Fairy Tale Daycare, we offer safe, structured and properly supervised care for your little legends. Wherever they are a dragon with touch of over-enthusiasm, a prince reconsidering tower arrangement, or a wolf working through dietary transitions, they will be in steady hands. All people are inspected. All glass slippers are labelled, and no spinning wheels are left unattended after 4:30. Our trained staff specialises in responsible fire breathing, quest postponement techniques, conflict resolution between rival heirs, and gentle pacing early stage hero journeys. Because destiny, you see, doesn't need rushing. It just needs managing properly. We have enhanced nap grows for quiet reflection, castle building sessions without feudal complications, and a firm policy regarding unsolicited curses. And if Armageddon's been rescheduled again, don't you worry. We offer flexible half-days quest cover. Fairy Tale Daycare, where dragons nap, wolf use their indoor forces, and happily ever afters. Wait until collection time. Give us a ring. We will keep your legend safe.
Am I get done? Am I get done? Am I get done? Yeah. A pump it. Fairy Tale Daycare is not responsible for spontaneous. Fairy Tale Daycare is not responsible for spontaneous. Fairy Tale Daycare. Folks happily ever after. Colors. Lines. Thank you for your compliance. Our records indicate your dependent is exhibiting elevated destiny for authority. Unmanaged prophecies drift. At Fairy Tale Daycare, we specialize in early stage legend containment. Wolf dialogue. All participants are enrolled in our patented mediation. Response small. 78% reduction in unsanctioned rebellion. If your dragon begins, if your princess questions, architectural. Spindles are magnetically. Please don't ask me to sing. Please don't ask me to sing. Thank you for your compliance. If you are a busy witch with potions, and no spin wheels are left. Train conflict resolution between rivals, whether they are a dragon. We have enhanced nap groups for quiet reflection, castle building sessions without feudal. And if I might get done, turn the dial and feel the wave. Stir the fallout signal break. We will be. Some of those lines in the last one, especially near the end, don't actually, are not well, are poorly grammatical, yeah, poor grammar, extremely poor grammar in some of them. Devon area of London. I don't speak like the typical Southwest farmer.
Across history, there are moments when people claim they felt it first. A flicker in the air, a whisper beneath the radio static, a strange rhythm inside ordinary days. Some call it coincidence, others call it destiny trying to get our attention. Tonight I want to begin with a simple question for each of you. When did you first notice the signal? Guess one? Let me start with you. When did you first notice something unusual in the pattern of events around us?
It wasn't dramatic at first. No thunder, no cosmic trumpet. Just little things. Predictions missing the marks. Stories refusing to follow their usual endings. It felt like the universe had started editing itself mid-sentence. At first, I thought it was a coincidence. Then the coincidence began arriving on schedule. That's when I realized something had changed. The signal wasn't loud. It was definitely there.
The people resist the idea that anything mystic or mystical is happening at all. When did you notice something strange? Guess two.
Honestly, I noticed when the explanations stopped working. You can explain one weird event, you can explain two, but eventually the pattern starts behaving like a conversation instead of random noise. You ask a question, reality responds with something oddly specific, and suddenly the world feels less like a machine and more like someone tapping on the glass from the other side. I guess that's when I started paying attention.
Some traditions claim that signals appear whenever a new myth is forming. When did you first feel that kind of shift? Guess three.
Late at night. The kind of hour when the world is quiet enough to hear its own gears turning. I noticed stories repeating in strange places. Different people, different countries, but somehow the same themes appearing again and again, like fragments of a larger script. That's when I realized something important. Signals rarely arrive as answers. They arrive as questions disguised as coincidences. And if enough people start asking the same question, a myth is usually about to be born.
So tonight we have three possibilities. Maybe the signal is coincidence. Maybe it's pattern recognition. Or maybe it's something older. Something that appears whenever history prepares to turn the page. But this leads us to the next question. If a signal really is appearing, who is it meant for? Breaking developments from the narrative labor market tonight. After centuries of hazardous work conditions, unpaid hero appearances, and repeated castle sieges, Representatives from several major fairy tale kingdoms are formally requesting union recognition. To discuss this unprecedented development, we welcome Lady Briar Rose, representing the Enchanted Workers Guild. Sir Ledger the Bard, historian of heretic contracts, and the Big Bad Wolf, appearing today as a freelance narrative consultant. Let's begin. Question 1. When dragons begin filing paperwork instead of breathing fire, is it the end of the fairy tale or the beginning of accountability? We'll start with you, Lady Briarrose.
Well, for centuries, our stories have demanded impossible standards. Curses without breaks, spindles without safety warnings. We simply ask for a sustainable narrative environment.
Historically speaking, fairy tale labor has been dangerously unregulated. Glass slippers, enchanted forests, poisoned fruit, none of it meets modern compliance standards, not to mention OSHA.
Look, I just want hazard pay every time a woodsman busts through a wall.
Are we witnessing a rebellion of storybook characters or a natural evolution of myth?
Well, stories change as their listeners change.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Narratives once centered on, mere survival. Now they negotiate workplace dignity.
Also, I've been typecast for 400 years now.
If knights and witches unionize, who negotiates the terms? The storyteller or the characters themselves?
We propose a council of narrative participants.
This could represent the first democratic mythology system.
Honestly, I just wanted to play the librarian once.
Is this the end of the traditional hero's journey?
Oh no. It's the beginning of the hero's lunch break.
Yeah, even heroes require benefits.
Dental plans would be nice.
And if fairy tales gain bargaining power, what happens to happily ever after?
Happily ever after becomes contractually defined.
Yeah, narrative closure with benefits.
Maybe fewer torches on pitchforks.
Negotiations continue tonight across the Enchanted Realms. Whether this marks the end of the old fairy tale order or the birth of something stranger remains to be seen. Stay tuned. Our next story comes from a coastal region where an unscheduled mythological incident has triggered intense debate among narrative authorities. Earlier this week, a young woman entered the sea for a swim on a warm summer afternoon. Her clothes were reported stolen by an opportunist octopus, which was then immediately eaten by a shark, leaving the swimmer asking one simple existential question: what do I do now? To analyze the narrative consequences, we welcome Lord Edworthy of Devon, eyewitness to the event, Dr. Marina Pidelock, marine mythologist and professional narrative spiritualist in story structure anomalies. Let's begin. When an octopus steals clothing and fate sends a shark moments later, are we witnessing coincidence or a myth attempting to right itself?
Well, now from where I was standing, it looked very much like the scene prophecy.
Marine ecosystems occasionally produce symbolic events.
Of course, from a narrative standpoint, this is a classic mythic escalation.
If the octopus acted as a trickster and the shark as sudden judgment, what role does the swimmer play in this unfolding story?
The bewildered protagonist, I should think.
Perhaps the sea has chosen her for a transformation narrative.
Or simply the universe demonstrating its slapstick timing.
Does the disappearance of the clothing represent loss, liberation, or an unexpected call to adventure?
Well, it certainly caused a fair bit of confusion on the beach.
And symbolically speaking, garments often represent identity.
Well, in that case, it means the character is now in Act 2, whether she likes it or not.
If nature begins improving stories without author approval, who regulates the narrative?
I'm not entirely certain it can be regulated.
The sea rarely submits paperwork.
Which is precisely why myth exists.
And finally, if a shark eats the evidence of the event, does the story disappear or become legend?
It becomes legend immediately.
Especially if witnesses keep telling it.
Yeah, indeed. In fact, we may very well be watching the birth of a coastal folktale.
A strange afternoon at the shores. An octopus with questionable motives. A shark with impeccable timing. And somewhere tonight, a new story is forming. You're listening to Stir the Fallout. Stay with us.
That's the octopus had unfold. At no point was I informed verbally, telepathically. At no point was I informed verbally, telepathically, or through legally binding shell-based documentation that the octopus had unlawfully appropriated clothing. That sounds all wrong. I consume sea. I do not conduct property searches. I do not inventory sell voids. God, this is hell.
I do not infantry cephalopods. If garments were present inside the octopus at the time of
That's
the...
kind of cool.
I reject all allegations that I knowingly interfered with textile distribution. Okay.
Thank you for your compliance.
That's the octopus had unfold. Bomb. At no point was I informed verbally, telepathically. At no point was I informed verbally, telepathically, or through legally binding shell-based documentation that the octopus had unlawfully appropriated clothing. That sounds all wrong. I consume sea. I do not conduct property searches. I do not inventory sell voids. God, this is hell.
Furthermore, I wish to express sympathy for the young woman's predicament. predicament. Okay. Furthermore, I wish to express sympathy for being unexpectedly garmentless due to interspecies theft, followed by predator intervention. Furthermore, being unexpectedly garmentless due to interspecies theft, followed by predator infantry. Yeah, no.
Thank you for your compliance.
I do not infantry several plots. If garments were present inside the octopus at the time of... Yes, that's kind of cool. I reject all allegations that I knowingly interfered with textile distribution. Okay.
However, I maintain that I acted with the long-standing and universally recognized jurisdiction. In conclusions, signed, Bartholomew. This is like hell to me.
Thank you for your compliance.
I do not infantry several plots. If garments were present inside the octopus at the time of... Yes, that's kind of cool. I reject all allegations that I knowingly interfered with textile distribution. Okay.
Okay, from the top. I, Bartholomew Jonathan, Mr. John, do hereby issue the following form. First and foremost, I clarify. No, yeah. Wow, my eyes. First and foremost, I would like it to clarify. First and foremost, I would like it clearly stated that I had no prior knowledge of any garments, swimwear. Sorry, my eyes are. My eyes was just gone out of focus there. First and foremost, I would like it clearly of any garments, swimwear, toes, sandals, or loosely folded summer frocks being in the possession of said octopus at the time of ingestion. At no letter read, and I do not infantry cephalopods, and if garments were present inside the octopus at the time of digestion, if garments were present, try that again. If garments were present. Why do you keep on saying present? Furthermore, I wish to express sympathy for the young woman's predicament, being unexpectedly garmentless due to interspecies theft, followed by. Furthermore, I wish to express sympathy for young. For the Furthermore, I wish to express sympathy for the young women's predicament. Try that again.
Thank you for your compliance.
Furthermore, I wish to express sympathy for the young women's predicament. Predicament. Okay. Furthermore, I wish to express sympathy for the young women's predicament. Being unexpectedly garmentless due to interspecies theft, followed by predator intervention. Evermore. Look at me comment. Due to interspecies theft, followed by predator intervention. Yeah, no.
Furthermore, I wish to express sympathy for the young women's predicament. I'm going to get my union onto you after this. Getting worse and worse. Followed by predator intervention. Keep on tripping up on that word. Furthermore, I wish to express sympathy for the young women's predicament. Being unexpectedly... Okay. However, I maintain that I acted with... Signed, Bartholomew J. Shark, Predator, not a pickpocket.
Thank you for your compliance.
Furthermore, I wish to express sympathy for the young women's predicament. Okay.
Furthermore, I wish to express sympathy for the young women's predicament. Being unexpectedly garmentless due to interspecies theft, followed by predator intervention. Furthermore, being unexpectedly garmentless due interspecies theft, you're right.
Yeah. They talk with their teeth.
That's
Do
right.
sharks actually make a noise?
It's your call, man. It is your call. You are the shark.
You're the actor. Go hard, bro.
You are Bartholomew Jonathan Shark Esquire.
Hi, everybody. I made it.
To me.
It's really funny, actually. It's
Thank you for your compliance.
Well, I saw the whole business, I did. Warm day at work, proper warm. The sort that makes you question waistcoats. Young lady goes down to the water, happy as you like. Sun on her shoulders, sea calm as calm could be in a teacup. In she goes, splendid form really, confident, very hydrological. Now I'm seated upon the dock with a modest sandwich, cucumber if that matters, when, whoop, up pops this octopus. Not aggressive, mind, curious. Looked at the comments, considered them, and with a sort of quiet determination, whoop, off he toddled with a lot. Efficient little fighter. The young lady turns round and realizes the administrative shift in circumstances. just as I'm thinking, well, this shall require negotiation. Whoop! Shark. Decisive. No committee meeting. Straight through the octopus. Nature does this like paperwork. Know what I mean? Say no more, nudge, nudge. And there we are. Bob's your uncle. Clothes gone. Octopus gone. Shark looking rather pleased with itself. And that poor gal standing waist deep in reflection, saying,
Oh no! What will I do now? What do I do now?
which, if you ask me, is the most honest question uttered all afternoon. I offered her me waistcoat, of course, but one must consider proportional coverage, eh? Know what I mean? So, in the end, she stayed in the water till the coast was diplomatically clear. That is to say, I cleared out. But I can't fault her composure, really. Most people panic when the food chain reorganizes around them, as they say. She merely sighed. Very British of her, actually.
The official statement of Mr. Bartholomew J. Sharp, Esquire.
I, Mr. Jonathan Shark, resident of the immediate coastal waters, an occasional participant in the food chain, do hereby issue the following clarification regarding the recent octopus incident. When I observed the octopus, it appeared to be engaging in what marine professionals call erratic failing. As a shark of standard reputation, I interpreted the behavior as either A, a competitive display, B, a culinary opportunity, dummy, C, Tuesday. At no point was I informed, verbally, telepathically, or through legally binding shell-based documentation, that the octopus had unlawfully appropriated clothing from a young woman enjoying an otherwise pleasant aquatic experience. Let the record reflect. I consume seafood. I do not conduct property searches, and I do not inventory cephalopods. If garments were present inside the octopus at the time of digestion, they were not declared, itemized, or disclosed in advance. I reject all allegations that I knowingly interfered with textile redistribution. Furthermore, I wish to express sympathy for the young woman's predicament. Being unexpectedly garmentless due to interspecies theft, followed by predator intervention, is, I acknowledge, an unfortunate sequence of events. However, I maintain that I acted within the long-standing and universally recognized jurisdiction of shark being shark. In conclusion, I did not steal the clothes. I did not know about the clothes. I do not offer refunds. Thank you for your attention. My legal team will now accept questions exclusively in the form of baited hooks, which I will politely ignore. Signed, Bartholomew J. Shark, Predator, not a pickpocket.
Thank you for your compliance. Welcome back to Stir the Fallout. Tonight's broadcast has already brought us prophecy, volatility, labor unrest among fairy tale characters, and at least one maritime incident involving an octopus and extremely poor clothing security. Which means it's time for the part of the program where things become slightly less stable. Welcome to the Chaos Panel. Joining us tonight are several observers of reality's increasingly unquestionable behavior. Let's begin. We now enter The Chaos Panel. Remain composed. Speak clearly. No spontaneous prophecies. Alright, Chaos Panel. I want to throw something strange onto the table. All of you claim in one way or another that something shifted in the pattern of events. Call it destiny, call it coincidence, call it cosmic static. But at some point you notice something. So here's the question. Where did you first notice the signal?
Honestly, I noticed when the production stopped behaving. You do have experts absolutely certain about what was coming next, and then reality just walked off script. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly. At some point, you started wondering if the universe is improvising.
I noticed it way earlier than that. I knew before everyone. They wouldn't listen to me, no. No, for me it was when all the weird stories started rhyming with each other. All the different places and different people, but the same strange themes and memes popping up. It's like someone scattered puzzle pieces all over the world and forgot to hide the picture on the box.
Yeah, see, my moment was way simpler. I realized something weird was going on when the ridiculous things kept turning out to be true. You know how normally the dumbest possible timeline is just a joke? Well, suddenly the dumb timeline started winning. That's when I knew we were living inside a cosmic prank.
So let me ask you this then. If there really is a signal, who's broadcasting it? The gods, the future, the algorithm?
Or maybe it's just humans getting better at noticing patterns.
Or worse, maybe something noticed us first.
Honestly, I think that the universe should just hit shuffle and walked off.
So, what we're saying here tonight is this. Either destiny is unraveling, or something spilled coffee on the cosmic control panel. But if the signal is real, and people are starting to hear it, then the next question becomes unavoidable. What happens when everyone starts responding to it at the same time? And that might be where things get dangerous.
Hold on. We got something coming in.
Wait, what?
We're getting an update right now.
All right, folks. We're interrupting the Chaos Panel for a moment. This just came across the desk. This just in, multiple observers across several regions are reporting sudden synchronization events. Clocks drifting into identical seconds, random devices activating at the same time, and several individuals claiming they heard, quote, a signal beneath the noise.
Okay, that's unsettling timing.
See, I told you this was happening. That's exactly what pattern activation looks like.
Or, just hear me out here. Someone leaned on the universe's group notification button.
According to reports, several of these witnesses described the experience the same way. They say the moment lasted only a few seconds, but during that moment, they felt like everything lined up, like the world paused, and something tried to speak.
Did they record anything?
Apparently, one person claimed he did, but the recording only contained static.
Maybe that's not static. That's carrier signal noise.
Or could be the universe breathing into the microphone.
Well, if what we're hearing is accurate, then the question we asked a moment ago might be more relevant than we realized. Because if people are starting to hear the signal at the same time, then maybe the broadcast isn't random. Maybe it just went live. So let's continue the question, but now with this information in mind. When did you first notice the signal? And are we already too late? Slag. Before the break, we discussed the growing labor unrest among characters employed at Fairy Tale Daycare. But tonight, another story has surfaced. Reports are coming in of, shall we say, extracurricular mythological activity occurring just outside the daycare gates. Apparently, several princes, witches, moorfolk, and at least one enchanted woodcutter have been spotted engaging in unscheduled romantic side quests during lunch breaks. Which raises an interesting question. When mythical characters begin pursuing adventures outside their assigned storylines, are we witnessing a personal freedom or breakdown in narrative discipline? Let me ask the panel something. If characters begin stepping outside their written roles, does the story collapse or evolve?
From a skeptical standpoint, mythology depends on roles. Heroes rescue people, witches curse people, woodcutters chop things. But if those roles loosen, suddenly the story becomes unpredictable, and mythology hates unpredictability.
Or maybe mythology needs it. Think about it. If you've got a forest full of legendary figures, all beautiful, mysterious, magically cursed, and whatnot, eventually someone's going to start asking, why am I only allowed one storyline?
Look, I'm just saying, if you put Prince Charming, Sleeping Beauty, and a mermaid in the same lunch break area, you're basically running a reality dating show with swords.
Fair point. But in classic myth, heroes often wander into temptation. Odysseus did it. Zeus practically made a career of it. But what happens when everyone in the story begins wandering?
Then the story becomes a myth and starts becoming a soap opera.
Or a revolution. Because the moment characters realize they aren't trapped in their narrative, they stop following the script.
And that's when the third little pig starts texting Rapunzel.
Now, to be clear, the administration at Fairy Tale Daycare has issued a statement saying all romantic subplots must be filed with management before becoming canon. However, eyewitnesses claim that Prince Charming, Sleeping Beauty, and someone identified only as the third little pig were seen leaving the enchanted break room together early today.
That's not a subplot. That's a multi-book crossover event.
That's how mythological pantheons start. First romance, then suddenly everyone is sharing the same universe.
And then somebody's husband shows up with a magic axe.
Which raises one final question for the panel. At what point does a subplot become a scandal?
When the author loses control.
When the characters start writing their own endings.
Yeah, nah, I'd say when the enchanted HR department gets involved.
Well, we'll keep monitoring the situation as it develops. But until then, we remind all viewers Jesus is watching, and so is Gary. So if you're sneaking into a fairy tale daycare for romantic mischief, you may want to keep that in mind. Up next, a development story about destiny, volatility, and why the prophecy calendar may now be running 3 weeks behind schedule. Stay with us.
Host, you might want to see this.
Wait, what now?
Just received a statement from the Fairy Tale Daycare Administration.
All right, folks. We're interrupting the Chaos panel again. This just came across the desk. Fairy Tale Daycare has released an official notice regarding what they are calling unscheduled interpersonal narrative entanglements. The daycare confirms that several married characters from different storybooks were recently observed meeting after hours near the enchanted playground equipment. Administration stresses that the situation is being monitored closely.
Wait, are we saying fictional characters are having affairs now?
This is what happens when narrative stability collapses. The storylines start crossing.
Okay, I knew it. The big bad wolf finally joined the book club.
According to the statement, the following characters reportedly present during the incident: a princess from an unnamed coastal kingdom, a traveling knight currently between quests, and a suspiciously well-dressed frog, and what witnesses describe as a fox wearing sunglasses.
This sounds like a misunderstanding.
Or the beginning of a cross-fairy tale alliance.
Or the world's most awkward parent-teacher conference.
Fairy Tale Daycare officials also emphasized that all magical playground equipment remains safe for children and that the enchanted slide is not responsible for the events currently under investigation. However, they did add one additional note. Parents may notice unusual narrative tension between certain characters in upcoming story cycles.
Oh no.
That means the plot lines are already shifting.
Someone call HR. I don't think the Brothers Grimm wrote a policy for this.
So apparently, destiny, volatility, cross-timeline romance, and enchanted playground equipment are now part of the same story. Which brings us back to the panel question. If fairy tale characters themselves are ignoring the script, what does that say about the rest of us? Panel, are we witnessing a narrative scandal or the first unionization of happily ever afters? We've also received reports tonight that several fairy tale kingdoms are requesting union representation. Dragons want regulated fire-breathing princesses are filing workplace safety complaints. And the big bad wolf would like to stop being typecast as the villain in every production, which raises a troubling possibility. What happens when fictional characters become aware of their working conditions?
From a narrative perspective, this is a major shift. Stories traditionally operate on fixed roles. Heroes, hero, villains, villain. But if characters start recognizing their roles as jobs rather than destinies, suddenly the entire structure of storytelling changes.
Or, maybe this was inevitable. I mean, think about it. For centuries, Centuries, the same characters have been forced to repeat the same plots again and again. I mean, if I were the big bad wolf, I'd unionize too. 3 pigs every time, every retelling, always a brick house at the end. That's burnout waiting to happen.
Look, all I'm saying is this. If dragons finally get a 40-hour, fire-breathing work week, insurance premiums in medieval villages are about to skyrocket.
Do stories belong to their authors or to the characters inside them?
Traditionally, the authors, but culturally, characters eventually become public property. That is why myths survive. They stop belonging to one person.
And once characters realize that, they might start negotiating their own arcs.
Which means that next year we're getting Little Red Riding Hood, the director's cut.
If fairy tales unionize, does mythology follow?
Possibly, because mythologies already behave like a shared narrative economy.
I can imagine Zeus filing a harassment complaint against fate itself.
Imagine Hercules demanding overtime pay for 12 labors.
And the final follow-up. Could legends eventually negotiate their own endings?
If stories become self-aware, that might be inevitable.
Or terrifying, because the moment characters start changing their endings, history stops being predictable.
Also, Cinderella might decide the glass slipper is not Oscar-approved footwear. Before we continue, I must remind everyone of an important broadcast compliance notice. Jesus is watching, and so is Gary. Bullhorn Barry is gay, and apparently John Galt is too. Across tonight's broadcast, we've seen several strange signals. Prophecies moving, fairy tales organizing, and the sea improvising plot twists involving octopuses and stolen clothing. Which leads to the final question for the Chaos panel. If the old stories are breaking down, what new myth is forming in their place?
We might be witnessing the rise of collaborative mythology. Stories shaped not by single authors, but by entire cultures interacting in real time.
Or we're watching digital folklore emerge, memes, live streams, internet legends, stories that spread faster than ancient myths ever could.
Personally, I think humanity has become the trickster archetype. We're poking every rule of reality just to see what breaks. So, perhaps tonight's lesson is this. The old myths are not dying. They're evolving, rewriting themselves, unionizing, improvising, and possibly filing paperwork. Which means the next chapter of the story may already be unfolding somewhere outside the script. And if that's true, we'll be here to cover it. All right, Chaos panel. We need to address the story currently confusing both marine biologists and narrative theorists. Earlier today, a perfectly ordinary summer swim turned into what witnesses are now calling an unscheduled mythological incident. According to multiple reports, a young woman entered the water for a casual swim, At some point during the swim, an octopus reportedly emerged from the rocks and made off with her clothing. Moments later, the octopus itself was eaten by a passing shark, which has left the original participants standing in the water thinking, "Oh no, what do I do now?" Now, normally, this would simply be filed under Strange Beach Story. But several observers have pointed out that the sequence of events reads uncannily like the opening of a myth. And that raises a troubling question for the Chaos panel tonight. When a completely unscripted event suddenly begins to resemble a folk tale, are we witnessing random chaos?
Honestly, mythology often starts exactly this way. Something bizarre happens, witnesses start telling the story. Each version adds symbolism. Give it a few generations and suddenly it's a legend about the sea punishing vanity or rewarding courage.
Or maybe the sea was just bored. You've got to admit the timing is suspicious. Octopus steals clothes, shark eats octopus. That's not chaos so much as it's narrative escalation.
Well, the shark definitely understood the assignment. Let's talk about the octopus for a moment, because witnesses insist that the creature specifically targeted the clothing. So the panel must ask, was this simply animal curiosity or the most committed underwater prank in recorded history?
Octopuses are famously intelligent. Stealing objects isn't unheard of. But the timing of the shark encounter makes it feel like the universe edited the scene for dramatic effect.
I'm just saying, we've never asked the octopus what its plan was.
Unfortunately, the shark has now submitted the final draft.
Now the real question. When something like this happens in broad daylight with witnesses everywhere, who actually controls the story? The person involved, the observer, or the internet?
Historically, the crowd. Once enough people retell the story, it stops belonging to the original event.
Which means the myth is already evolving. Some version of the story already includes a cursed sea spirit.
And another version where the octopus was working for the shark as a wardrobe acquisition specialist.
Before we continue, we need to issue a standard broadcast reminder. Jesus is watching you, and so is Gary. Bullhorn Barry is gay, and apparently John Galt is too. But here's the bigger issue. If random real-world events keep accidentally creating mythical story structures, what does that say about reality itself? Are we simply pattern-seeking creatures? Or is the universe quietly writing stories through us?
Humans naturally organize chaos into narratives. It is how we understand the world.
Or maybe the universe just enjoys storytelling.
In which case, the shark clearly prefers short stories.
So panel, what's in this? If a strange beach incident can transform into legend within hours, what other ordinary events might already be turning into myths right now? Possible directions. modern folklore spreading through the internet, reality becoming collaborative storytelling, everyday chaos generating new mythology. So tonight's conclusion from the chaos panel appears to be this. A woman went swimming. An octopus stole the wardrobe. A shark performed editorial review. And the internet is currently deciding whether the entire situation is a warning, a comedy, or the beginning of a new myth. Which means we may be witnessing something fascinating. A random summer afternoon becomes folklore. And we'll be right back.
The middle of summer, I took my clothes off to swim, and then an octopus grabbed them, and he took them with him.
Then a shark came along and ate the octopus. I said, oh no, what do I do now? What do I do now? What do I do now? Oh no, what do I do now? What do I do now? What do I do now? Oh no,
what do I do now? What do I do now? What do I do now?
It was the middle of summer. I took my clothes off to swim. They're covering a feeling they never had. The water is cold, the water is gray. It was the middle of summer. I took my clothes off to swim. Whoa! mimic a smile. The water is cold, the water is gray. And then an octopus grabbed them and he took them with him. Then a shark came along and ate the octopus. I said, the water is rising. The water is rising. Oh no, what do I do now? The radioactive chicken. Broadcasting from the crater of the demented. A novelty apocalypse in double time. Our frequency radiates through the fallout. Oh no, what do I do now? Bubbling, bubbling, bubbling makes a sound big. Oh no, I do now. The output is perfect. Oh no, what do I do now? The source is anonymous. The water is Observe the plumage as it starts to pulsate. Radiant quills visible for 40 miles. Incandescent skins beneath the jagged feathers. Look at them radiate. We are the beacons of biological instability, illuminating the ruins of your progress. They're covering your feeling. They never have. What do I do now? The water is cold. The water is gray. Oh no! What do I do now? Oh no! What do I do now? The radioactive chicken. Broadcasting from the crater of the demented. Bubbling, bubbling, bubbling makes a sound big. The output is perfect. Source is anonymous. The water is rising. Oh no, what do I do now? Frequency radiates through the fallout. Poke, poke. The water is right.
We emerge from the isotopic debris, products of a systematic industrial failure. Avian anatomy reconstructed by negligence, feathered mutants claiming the suburban wasteland. No longer confined to the poultry plant, a manifestation of ecological transgression. We are the byproduct of your appetite, a frenzied flock of radioactive resentment. The radioactive chicken hell, broadcasting from the crater of the demented. A novelty apocalypse in double time. A frequency radiates through the fallout. Escape from the tubes and the chemical bath. Synthetic evolution in a basement of horrors. And demanded airwaves carry a transmission. A novelty signal for the articulate outcast. We jack the comfort of the standard coupe. A cacophony of dissonant in a mask of ass. Walks on a sermon of suburban decay. Join the panic of the feather resistance. While I'm letting you, I can't sink in hell.
Oh god, this is a long one. I cautiously agreed to this. I swear, when I finish this, I'm just gonna go into a corner, walk back and forth, and start crying. That's why at Fairy Tale Daycare, we provide safe, structured, narratively compliant. I can't speak. Oh god. That's why at Fairy Tale Daycare. You Americans are just putting me off. Mythical. A princess in early stage tower independency. Okay.
Oh god, this is a long one.
Wolf navigation. Navigation in navigation. Yeah, navigation. Okay. On egg-shaped safe. No cursed stumbles. Are you a witch? Are you a witch with full potion schedule? Potion. Okay. Conflict resolution for Syl. Union. Oh, that's your Americanized. Isley. Parent testimonials like tests. That's why at Fairy Tale Daycare we provide safe, structured, narratively compliant food. We provide safe, structured, narratively compliant daycare. Are you a witch? Potion. Princess and early stage tower independency. Wolf navigation. Narratively compliant. Fairy Tale Daycare. Fairy Tale Daycare. Oh god, this is a long one.
Mythical.
I cautiously agree to this. Potion. Compliant. Mythical.
Structured narratively complement.
This is a long one. I swear, when I finish this, I'm just gonna go into the corner, walk back and forth and start crying. I cautiously agree to this. Are you a witch? Are you a witch with full
Fairy Tale Daycare is not responsible for spontaneous.
Okay.
Fairy Tale Daycare is not responsible for spontaneous. Fairy Tale Daycare. Folks happily ever after.
That's why Fairy Tale Daycare we provide safe, structured
lines. Thank you for your compliance. Our records indicate your dependent is exhibiting elevated destiny fertility.
That's why at Fairy Tale Daycare
unmanaged prophecies drift.
Daycare. That's why at
Fairy Tale Daycare we specialize in early stage legend containment. Wolf dialogue. All participants are enrolled in our
this is a long one.
mediation.
I swear, when I finish this, I'm just going to go into a corner, walk back and forth, and start crying.
Reduction in unsanctioned rebellion.
Cautiously agree to this. Are you a witch? Are you a witch with full potion?
If your princess questions architectural.
I step.
Spindles are magnetically. Please don't ask me to sing. Please don't ask me to sing. Thank you for your compliance.
That is why at Fairy Tale Day.
If you are a busy witch with potions,
that's why at
and no spin wheels are left. Train conflict resolution between rivals.
No, pass.
Whether they are a dragon. We have enhanced your groups for quiet reflection.
That's why at fairy tale
Building sessions without feudal. And if I might get done, turn the dial and feel the wave. Stir the fallout signal break. We will be. Some of those lines in the last one, especially
Mythic,
near
mythical,
the
mythic.
end, don't actually.
That's why at fairy
Poorly
tale
grammatical,
constructed narratively complement.
Devon area
That's
of London.
why at Fairy Tale Data you can find safe, structured, narratively
I don't speak like the typical
compliant,
Southwest
compliant,
farmer.
Oh God. A princess in early stage
Signal
power
rising,
independence.
static turning,
A wolf
headlines burning through the sky.
navigation.
Voices echo from the
Navigation
fallout.
on egg-shaped
Truth and rumor amplified. Spin the dial, embrace the thunder. Every whisper wants the crown. Chaos writes the nightly bulletin while the satellites look down. Stir the fallout! Spin the wave!
Let me call American noise.
Long live! What tyrants crave! Signal bright across the night!
We stirred the fallout. We aligned the static. We did not collapse. We broadcast. Until next transmission.
Turn the dial and feel the wave. Stir the fallout signal